Hello, beautiful people. How are you today? I'm just going to check to see that we are live and where we are coming from. Let's just take a quick check. Let me know if you can see me in the comments. Are we live? We are streaming across multiple different platforms today. And so we're quite excited to be able to give this a go. So let me know if you are in the comments and you can hear me live. And we will just get ourselves going in just a couple of minutes. So if you're tuning in from, where are you tuning in from? So I am here in my home in Port Macquarie, and it is a glorious day. I've been out for a walk. What have you been up to this morning? So just trying to see where I am. It's not showing that I am live where I should be. Goodness gracious me. Let's go. Let's kind of see what we're doing. The joys of technology. Anyhow, we are 1 minute past the hour, and I am going to keep you for roughly 60 to 90 minutes. Now, remember, this is recorded. If you are watching live, it is recorded. And if you need to duck away, no worries. Life, this is the silly season and the busy season. So if you need to duck away, cut away, let me know, and I can send you through the recording afterwards. For those of you who have not met me, I am Monica Watt, and I'm actually excited to be here today. If we have not met, let me just share a little tiny bit about myself and why I'm so passionate about what I do. Now, I am a confidence coach, and I help people just like you find clarity, take bold steps, and really create a mindset and action needed to move them closer and yourself closer to your goals. So whether you are wanting to level up your career, if you're stepping into leadership, or just feel like you need more confidence in your life, then I'm here to absolutely guide you on that journey. So now let me tell you a little bit about why my business is called Incredible Buzz, because I get asked this all the time. If you can just imagine, that's kind of the feeling that I want you to walk away with, so which is amazing. But did you know that scientifically bees shouldn't even be able to fly? No, they shouldn't. Their bodies are too heavy and their little bitty wings are too small. But they do that anyway. They defy the odds to give us life. Without bees, we don't have plants and flowers and vegetation, so they create so much ecosystem with what they do. Right? So scientifically, they're not supposed to be able to fly, but they do anyway. And to me, that's a perfect metaphor for what we as humans, what we're all capable of. It's not about having everything perfect. It really is about believing in yourself, using the tools and strategies that are available to you, and the time that you have, God willing, what time that you have left on this planet, and making it happen anyway. So I'm okay if somebody says to me, I can't do that, and they've tried it, or I don't want to do that, and they've tried it and they've made a decision that they don't want to do it. No worries. But don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself by saying, I can't do that, even before you've given something a go. So today's session is actually all about you. And now I know your time is valuable, and this is around 60 to 90 minutes. I know, as I said, it's the silly season, the busy season, but really this is 90 minutes maximum. That is all about you, and it's designed to help you step into 2025 with confidence, clarity, and actionable strategies. Now, if you've been feeling stuck, overwhelmed, unsure how to move forward, you're in the right place. If you're already going gangbusters and you want to keep that momentum, you're also in the right place, because what we want to do is maintain and build that momentum, not think, oh shit, how do I carry this forward into 2025? Now, here's the deal. I want you to stick with me until the very end, because I've got a couple of fantastic giveaways, that could make everything that we're covering even easier to implement. Plus, this time is for you. It's not for me. It's not for anyone else. This is your opportunity to be laser focused on your growth and set yourself up for success. So before we start, I hope you've got yourself a bevy. So I am double parked. I have my cup of tea and I've got my hot water going. Make sure you've grabbed yourself a pen and your handy dandy notebook. So grab a pen, get comfortable. It is lunchtime. If you're eating by the side, no worries. If you're here from WA, I know I've got a couple of people from WA chiming in today. Enjoy your morning tea. So let's get started, because by the end of today's session, I promise that you will walk away feeling more confident, clear, and ready to take on whatever 2025 throws your way. So before we start, drop just one word in the chat. One word in the chat that's describing how you feel about 2025 now. There's a lot of mixed words, isn't there? You know, I remember a time when I felt completely stuck, and I was at a crossroad in my career, and I was feeling overwhelmed by the sheer expectations, right? Both mine, right? Because we really are our biggest critic and challenge and conviction. There are so many things that we demand of ourselves, but then there's everyone else as well. We have family life, we have pet life, we have extended family life, we have community obligations, we have to pay the bills. Perhaps you've got a side hustle. So for me, I was juggling so many priorities, trying to prove, myself, but really deep down, I just felt like I wasn't moving forward. Now, I remember sitting at my desk one evening, and I don't know what your to-do list like, but for me, I was staring at my to-do list thinking, is this it? Is this what success is supposed to feel like? It wasn't, and has never been about, not being capable. It wasn't that I wasn't capable, because I am, there is literally nothing that I probably couldn't do. I know that I'm capable, and I knew I was capable. I'm looking at this list. What it was is that I couldn't actually see the bigger picture. I was stuck in self-doubt, and I was stuck in the cycle of doing what I thought I should do instead of what I wanted to do. And then really, there were a few moments that had actually occurred, but when something clicks, the penny drops, and I realized I was waiting for clarity, that clarity to poof, magically appear. If you've heard me speak, I've been on plenty of stages over my career, and I often talk about wishing that I had a crystal ball or a magic wand. I was waiting for clarity to magically appear, instead of creating it for myself. So I did something simple, but very, 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 very powerful. I wrote down one clear goal that I wanted, not what others expected, not what others wanted for me. As a push me pull you, I'm a daughter, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a best friend, I'm a sister. There are so many things, and who we are and how we are. There's so many expectations. I wrote down one goal, just one goal that I wanted. And what I then did was broke it down into small steps that I could take every day, and I just started moving. Who here can relate to that? It wasn't perfect, I can tell you now, and it sure as hell has not been immediate. But every little action has built momentum, and before I knew it, I was in a completely different place. Check out where I am now. In my own place, having my own business, working with amazing people, amazing businesses, seeing people thrive and flourish, and working to their own drumbeat. aligned to their values, not, prioritizing other people over themselves. There were so many amazing things, so many amazing things. So that different place was so different, not just in my career, but how I actually saw myself. Now, it reminds me a little bit of Taylor Swift. Now, just hear me out just a little bit. Now, Taylor's just wound up her Eras tour. And I am not a massive Tay-Tay fan, right? But my granddaughter is, right? I have a few granddaughters. I actually have 10 grandchildren. But one of my granddaughters, she's young, right? She's a Tay-Tay nuts, right? Well, actually 2 of them are, but one in particular. She can sing them all. And so because of that, I've just spent a week with them. And so I got to know a little bit more about, who this Taylor Swift is, and I will be very honest, I'm warming to her. But by gee, Taylor Swift certainly has had a story. She started as a country singer, but then she got that itch to pivot and grow. She leaned into the unknown. She reinvented herself more than once. She has faced criticism, doubt, challenges, and she still does. People are still, it doesn't matter whether you're a fan of hers or not, everybody's got an opinion to Taylor Swift. But what she has done is she has stayed true to her vision. She has kept evolving, and she makes bold moves. That is what it takes. Right? So if you are feeling stuck right now, I want you to know that this isn't permanent. You don't have all the answers, right? You will never have all the answers. And so people will wait. I have to wait until I have all the resources. I have to wait until I know everything. I have to wait until I'm studying everything. I have to wait. There are so many things that says I have to wait and I have to do and I have to be. You don't have to have all the answers. Sometimes it's about taking that one small step and trusting that clarity will come as you move. Does this sound familiar? You're working harder than ever, juggling conflicting priorities, yet you feel stuck on which way to go, stuck in yourself, probably in some self-doubt, stuck in some repeat behaviours and habits of who you are, who you're expected to be, who you've always been. Let's talk about what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to share with you a 3-step system designed to help you unlock unshakable confidence. Now, it does not mean that you're not going to feel frightened, overwhelmed, daunted, self-doubt creep in, because we're human. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have, this imposter syndrome that crops up. And my mentor and previous mentors that have called it the itty bitty shitty committee, which is what I like to say, because it's more than one person. There's a whole committee there, that's talking about perfectionism, that's talking about saving us from saber-toothed tigers, somebody who's judging us for what it is that we're wearing or what it is that we're doing, somebody who's crying in fetal position in the corner. Then you've got that psycho that just wants to do everything and, take every risk that there is. What we want to do is unlock that confidence, get very, very, very crystal clear on your goals and start taking real actionable steps towards achieving them. Now, these steps are simple, right? But they are so, so powerful. They've helped me, they've helped my clients, they've helped businesses, they've helped some of the most successful people out there, moving from feeling stuck to stepping into their power. So what we're going to go through in this session, in the next 19 minutes, we're going to uncover what's holding you back. We're going to explore simple yet powerful system for building that long-lasting confidence, something that you can take away from this and you can reapply over and over, or link back into another coach or a different education to get yourself back on track, because we are creatures of habit. We do default back. So we will uncover what's holding you back. We'll explore some simple yet very powerful systems built for that lasting confidence. We will map out clear, actionable steps to take your next big move, whether it's personal, professional, or both, right? Because remember, we are one person living in multiple facets of the world. And you might have a personal goal and a professional goal. And I liken to think that you should have those. I also have financial goals. So what you'll gain from today, first, you'll uncover what's holding you back, those hidden challenges that might be sabotaging your progress, even if you didn't realize it. Next, you'll learn how to build confidence in a way that feels right for you, right? Sustainable and uniquely yours. If you don't have the confidence, you can borrow mine for a while, or you can borrow somebody else's, but you need to find your own. The old adage of fake it till you make it, it's not. It's practice until you become it. Find your own. It's like buying a new pair of shoes. You've got to find them. You've got to find the one that fits. You've got to try them on, and then you've got to keep wearing them until you wear them in. But do not wear them and keep wearing them if they're giving you blisters. Find the right fit that is unique for you, because confidence isn't about faking it. It's about believing in yourself, practicing and showing up who you are. And then finally, what you'll do is you'll create a plan with actionable steps to start moving you closer towards your goal, whether that's your personal, your professional growth, your career success, or, you know, perhaps you've got something in between. So by the end of this session, you'll not only understand the system, but you'll have the tools to start implementing them right away. And I think the best part is this system, you know, you can come back to time and time and time again if you're feeling stuck, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's next month, whether it's years down the road. And I'm acutely aware of how some of my clients are using this with their children. I know I'm using it with my grandchildren now. So let's dive in and start building the confidence and clarity you need to make 2025 the year that you thrive. So let's start by unpacking some challenges that might actually be holding you back. Now, this step is crucial before we can move forward. We actually need to understand what's keeping us stuck. So here is a couple of reflective questions to consider, and take a moment to think about these. And if you're feeling comfortable, share it in the chat, right? Share it in the chat. I'd love to hear what's on your mind. What feels most overwhelming about where you are right now? Is it the number of priorities that you're juggling? Is it a lack of clarity? Is it something else entirely? Write it down. Get it in your notebook. What's one thing you wish you could change today? Maybe it's a mindset, a habit, or even just how you feel about where you are. There's no right or wrong answer here. This is your space to reflect and be honest with yourself. So I can just see I've got some comments coming in the chat. So any comments that come through, any questions that come through, I will come back to you. If I can answer them through this call, then I definitely will do. And if not, I'll come back to you separately. Now, as you think about your answers, notice this. Just acknowledging these challenges is the very first step. Often we actually stay stuck because we're so busy trying to push through or avoid the hard stuff, you know, that we don't take the time to name it. And here's the absolute God truth. You're not alone in feeling this way, because we all face challenges, but recognizing them is the very first step to moving forward. Take a moment, write those thoughts down. Feel free to share them in the comments. So let's dive into one of the biggest barriers that I see time and time and time again. What do you think it might be? What do you think it might be? Self-doubt. Self-doubt often whispers, are you sure you can do this? What if you fail? What will people think? It's sneaky because it doesn't always show up as insecurity. It often disguises itself as perfectionism, procrastination, or even overworking. You feel stuck not because you're incapable, but because you've convinced yourself you're not ready, you're not qualified enough, you don't have the time, you don't have the resources, or perhaps that you might not succeed. Now, here's the truth. Self-doubt doesn't mean you're incapable. It actually means that you're human. Even the most successful people deal with self-doubt. Talk to you about Taylor Swift. Despite her massive success, she has spoken openly about the doubts when she steps into new spaces, like recording, her albums, re-recording her albums. Imagine the pressure, right? What if it didn't work? What if people didn't respond? So instead of letting self-doubt stop her, she used it, to fuel her bold, authentic action. So I ask you, what's one thing I'd do if I knew I couldn't fail? Write it down. What if I stopped waiting to feel ready and just started? Confidence isn't what gets you started. Action builds confidence. Practice creates confidence. Progress builds confidence. Self-doubt is just a thought. It's all in here. It's not fact. So I've got a bit of an activity that I'm going to take us through. And I like to call them barriers, right? So when we're thinking about a barrier, so a self-doubt. So self-doubt, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. You can reframe your negative self-talk. So if you're thinking I'm not good enough, and you can say, what evidence do I have to prove that I'm capable? So light up your column, put a barrier. What is it that you've got? Let's say we've got, like we all have, let's say we've got conflicting priorities. Conflicting priorities. What's the solution to that? Pop it in the chat. Let me know. I'm going to keep going despite what's coming in the chat. Yeah. Align it. That's right. Focus on what aligns. So you want to focus on your alignment. Is it to the values? Is it to the goal? What's going to help you achieve? You can use a priority matrix. Priority matrix that goes from non-urgent all the way up to urgent, to important, so look at a priority matrix. Not sure how to use them? Let me know, I'll send you one. Here's another one that is common to many people. Fear of failure. What do you think you could do here? What do you think you could do? What do you think? How about take small intentional risk? No judgment at my penmanship. It's been a long time since I've been a teacher. I remember when I first started my primary school teaching, when I was doing my degree and was having to write on chalkboards. It was shocking, just saying. Take small intentional risks. What's one small step, one small thing? Just commit to one small thing of what it is that you can possibly do. There are so many challenges that we have when it comes to conflicting priorities. So ever feel like you're in a push me pull you, you're being pulled into 10 different directions all at once, between work demands, family responsibilities, personal goals, that constant need to show up for everyone. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, really easy to feel overwhelmed. The real issue isn't that we have too much to do, it's that we're trying to give everything the equal weight, right? One of the hardest truths that I've learned is that you can't do everything, but you can do what matters most. So let's look at how external pressures play into this. Often we internalize others' expectations as our own goals, which leaves us feeling stretched, thin. I like to say that, I'm thinner than, spread thinner than Vegemite on toast. So we're so stretched, we're out of alignment, with what we truly want. And that's exhausting, and that's why we feel stuck. So I invite you to reflect on this for just a moment. What's one thing? You've got a plate that's in front of you. What's one thing on your plate right now that's truly your priority? Yours, not someone else's. I have no doubt that even Taylor Swift faces, immense pressure to stay in her lane when she was a country artist. Immense pressure because she was on a roll, she was on a high, she was being successful. That pressure from others to stay in what she was already doing well because of others' expectations. But she chose to pivot into pop because it aligned with her creative goals, not what others expected of her. And balancing priorities isn't about doing more. It's about what moves you closer to the life or the career that you want. In the agile world, we talk about the methodologies from there. Just because we've always done it doesn't mean we should continue to do that. Just because it's easy doesn't mean I should be doing that. What you want to be doing, is it going to be achieving my goals, the life that I want, the career that I want, the finances that I want, the health that I want? Now, this one is a real biggie, fear of failure. Fear of failure, I have seen it firsthand, how paralyzing it can be. It keeps us inside our comfort zone, avoiding risks and sticking to what feels safe. But let me ask you this. What's worse, failing or never trying? What do you think your 80-year-old self would say to you right now? Future-proof. Go ahead, leaps and bounds. Go and do some mindfulness. Head forward. Do some mindfulness. What would you want your 80-year-old person to be saying to yourself? I wish I did that. I should have done that. All the woulda, coulda, shoulda doesn't matter if you didn't do it. How much rumination, how much beating up of yourself will you do if you never try at all? Failure is not the end. Failure is a part of growth. It's a learning curve. There is a brilliant book by Amy Edmondson, which I love, and it's called The Right Kind of Fail. I highly recommend it as a read. Because failure isn't the end, it's actually a stepping stone. Every successful person that you admire, whether it's somebody that you know in person, whether it's a celebrity, whether it's a business icon, whether it's a politician, every single one that you admire has faced failure and has used it to grow. Now, over the weekend, I actually sat down because I was with my grandchildren, and we watched Jumanji, right? Right, and so it was about The Rock, right? So Dwayne the Rock Johnson, I love The Rock, and Jumanji actually brought him back to mind as it was coming through. You might not know, you should know because he's actually quite famous, but he started his career as a professional wrestler. Yes, he's built like a brick shit house, isn't he? Right, he's got it. He could have stayed in his comfort zone, building his fame and fortune in the field, with a very, very specific identity. But he didn't stop there. Through sheer determination, he had a clarity of purpose. He went through hard work. He transitioned into Hollywood, where failure was a real possibility. I liken it to, there are so many crisis points that happens in becoming a star in every area. And he didn't just become an actor. He became one of Hollywood's most bankable movie stars. And he didn't stop there either. What he's done is continued to evolve. He's moved now into business ventures, motivational speaking, and each time he faced the fear of failure, self-doubt, and the challenge of prioritizing what's next. His story shows us that success isn't about avoiding barriers. It's actually about recognizing them face on, head on, and being willing to take the next step. So what about you? Which one of these resonate most with you? Self-doubt? Conflicting priorities? Fear of failure? What have we got? What's one way you think that these, whichever one, it could be all of them, it could be one of them, it could be something else. What's one way you think that this has been holding you back? Recognizing barriers isn't a weakness. It's actually the very, very first step to overcoming them. And this, my lovelies, is where you're going to have to park your egos at the door. You can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to yourself. Remember, the only person your brain truly trusts is you. If you tell it something over and over again enough, it will start believing it. So you want to be thinking about how are you listening, how are you speaking to yourself. Remember, do as I speak, do as I do as I say. Oh my gosh, let me draw that blank again. Oh, do as I think, say as I speak. Right? So it's understanding all of the things. I can't do that because of this. I'm not doing that because of that. Is it really? Or is it because you've got some barriers and you're not finding the solution for them? So I think these are the three constant ones that I hear routinely, the biggest barriers of what's holding us back. Self-doubt, conflicting priorities, and fear of failure. Recognize them is the first step to breaking free of them. And now if you take anything away from this session at all, let it be this. Recognizing barriers isn't a weakness, it's power. Absolute power. And so we're going to take this. And I'm going to introduce to you the 3-step system designed to help you build your confidence, gain clarity, and take actionable steps forward towards your goals. Like the rock, you can pivot, you can grow, you can move one bold step at a time. So the first step, awareness. Recognize where you are. You cannot plan a journey if you don't know where you are. Awareness is about getting really real with yourself. Remember, this is, you have to create your own psychological safety here. No judgment, no excuses, no old buts. This is being real with yourself, just an honest look at where you are and what's been holding you back. When you name it, it stops being this vague feeling that kind of washes over you and becomes something that you can address. So let's do this together. What's the biggest challenge that is keeping you stuck right now? If you could describe it, where you're at in one sentence, what would it be? So what's the biggest challenge keeping me stuck right now? If I could describe where I'm at in one sentence, what would it be? Take a moment, write down your answers. Don't overthink, just let it flow. Be as honest as possible with yourself. Have you got it? Let me know in the comments. Now, what we want to do is take this action a little bit further. This is where you're actually going to need your workbook out, right? So if you've got your workbook, you've got a couple of activities that are coming out. Hang on a minute, let me just, one that I prepared earlier, which did not print out in colour. So you should have your workbook. If you haven't got your workbook, let us know in the comments, and my fabulous assistant who's online, Michelle, she will get it across to you. There's a few activities that we're going to go through, and we're going to step into one, which is the first part, which is the grow. It's terrible when it's in just black and white, but that's what, colour, saving on colour is. So what we want to do is go through the first 2 steps of the grow model. G stands for goal. What do you truly want to achieve in 2025? Focus on what matters most to you, not what others expect. Write it down. Then we're going to look at R, reality. What's holding you back from achieving that goal right now? Is it external, like too many demands on your time? Is it a financial resource? What is it? Is it internal? Is it self-doubt? Is it procrastination? What is it? So write down one goal you want to achieve in 2025. Next, I want you to write down one barrier that is standing in your way. If you feel comfortable, drop one word, a phrase in the chat that sums up your current challenge. What you're going to gain from this step is clarity about what you want and what's holding you back. And then what it's going to do is start pointing you, to begin mapping out your journey. Awareness is empowering. It puts you in the driver's seat. And from here, we'll start building the confidence and the strategies that you need to move forward. So you got that? You've got one goal that you want to achieve in 2025. And then you've written down one barrier that's standing in your way. And we're going to move to step 2. This is about building your unshakable confidence. Because confidence isn't about never doubting yourself. It isn't. Right? We're human. We're going to get that. Shit happens. Things happen around us. Our brains go into gear. There are so many things that occur. what it is, it's not about doubting yourself. It's actually about taking action even when you're so unsure. It's a muscle that you build through practice, not something that you're magically born with. So let's explore how you can start building confidence today in a way that feels authentic and sustainable. This is where we're going to, let me just see if there's one that I prepared earlier. Have I prepared earlier? I'll have a look at this. Which one have I prepared earlier? Maybe I did, maybe I did not. No, I did not. I'm sure I did. Hang about. Maybe I thought about that I was going to do that. What we're looking at is actually to do with the reframe of negative self-talk. Reframing that negative self-talk is so critical because we all have that inner voice that says, what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? Instead of letting that voice control you, learn to reframe it. For example, when you think, I don't know if I can do this, reframe it to say, what's one small step that I can hear, that I can find out? When you hear, I'm not good enough, ask yourself, what's the evidence that I've got that shows that I'm capable? Now, you might be trying something new, completely new and different, completely, and it's going to feel uncomfortable. If you are not squirming, my lovelies, then you are not learning at all. So growth feels uncomfortable. I just want you to think about the very first time you tried tying your shoes, driving a car, riding a bike, cooking a new recipe, wearing a new outfit, trying a new hairstyle. My gosh, I think one of the greatest challenges that I think I've ever gone through is when my changed, mobile phones. Apple to Android, Android to Apple. My gosh, and then let's think about when they do an iOS update. There's a lot of things, oh shit, I can't do this. I don't know how to use this. I don't know why I'm doing this. So reframing those things. I haven't done this yet. I can't do this. I'm learning as I'm going. I'm building as I'm doing. I'm getting there. Confidence grows when you actually challenge and change the narrative that's inside your head. Such an important task is actually to anchor your small wins. Confidence isn't about massive steps. You will often see people that are successful and you think, oh, I wish it could be like that. How did they get there? They did it because of all of the small, terrible, boring processes and steps that they have had. I wrote an article many years ago that was titled, There's Nothing Sexy About Success. Because people think, oh, well, they get to go into the lounges and they get to go to events and they get all of these things. They didn't just get those things. They started small and they built themselves up. They built momentum. There is no overnight success. And confidence isn't built from one massive achievement. It's built by celebrating those small wins along the way. Let's just say, for example, if your goal is to apply for a new job, a small win could be completing your resume or researching roles. You're focusing on progress, not perfection. Every step forward is a reason to celebrate. If I come back to the fabulous, Taylor Swift, whom I've already talked about, that immense public scrutiny, when she pivoted from country, to pop, critics doubted her, but she learned her strengths, her storytelling, her authenticity, and her connection with the audience. By focusing on what she did well and building on it, she not only silenced her critics, but also she's gone gangbusters. My gosh, it's insane. Her success is beyond what anyone expect it? So just take a moment to reflect on something that you've already accomplished. What's one thing that you've achieved this year that you are proud of? Write it down. Whether it's personal, whether it's professional, whether it's big or small, and then reflect. What does this win say about your strength? How did you make it happen? And if you feel comfortable, share your wins in the chat. Let's celebrate those moments together because every win matters. And what you'll gain in doing this step is confidence is your ability, and it's in your ability to show up and succeed, even in small ways. And it's a reminder that you're capable of taking challenges ahead, right? One step at a time. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about trusting yourself enough to keep moving forward. And that's exactly what we'll build in the next step, creating actionable goals that align with your vision for 2025. I'm just going to have a mouthful of drink. If you take a break, make sure you're staying fresh. So step 3, we're doing some actionable goal setting. And this is what we want to do, is turn your clarity into movement. Because you've heard it say, goals without actions are just a dream. You know, so turning your ideas into actionable, realistic steps is where transformation happens. So let's do this together. And there is one that I have prepared a little bit earlier. We're going to be looking at some SMART goals. Think about that one goal that you've aligned for yourself for 2025, right? And if you're still, not sure, then you might need to list down a raft of goals and then prioritize. It could be personal, it could be professional, it could be both. To make it effective, ask yourself, is it specific? And in our workbook, there is an activity in here. It is in here for you to actually complete, right? It has all of the questions to ask as well as your own space. If you don't have it, no worries. Just write it out like I have. What exactly am I aiming for? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? So, how will I know when I've achieved it? Does it challenge me without being impossible? Now, almost anything is impossible. Impossible. But let me be clear, it needs to be within the realm of possibility. If you want to become an astronaut and you've just been a couch surfer, then you're going to take a lot. So the first thing is we need to get you off the lounge, whatever else it is, right? So does it challenge me without being impossible? Is it relevant? Does it align with what I truly want? Remember when I said at the start, we have so many expectations, so many goals that other people want. This is, what do you want? And, is it in my time? It's timelined, it's trackable, whichever way you're looking at it. But what is my deadline? When do I want to achieve it by? So let's say you're asking for a pay rise, right? So if I say here that I want to ask for, let's say 10%, right? So I'm looking for a 10% pay rise in my current role. Yep, so I want a 10% pay rise in my current role, right? And I want it to reflect, let's say, market value. Now, lovelies, you've heard me talk about this. There's a difference between market value and business value. Sorry, pointing you at my pen, right? There is a very significant difference. If your role can be transferred, translated into any other business of the same standing, the same activity, same contribution, right, we're looking at market value. If your role cannot be automatically translated or transferred into any other business because you have, and then some bits and pieces inside your business or inside your role, and you're doing multiple different jobs and you do different projects or other special things, that's business value. That means that's not transferable. It is transferable, but at a cost, right? So if you've got questions about that, come and talk to me about it, right? So when we're talking about measurable, right, I know I've achieved it. I've achieved, it could be I've achieved when my manager agrees to the pay rise. Right? It's agrees to the pay rise, and it's either perhaps it's in your next pay, perhaps it's in your new contract. How do you know that you've achieved it? Right? How's it achievable? Right? I've achieved it when, I've exceeded so, oh gosh, my writing's terrible. So, I've exceeded my performance targets, right? I've taken on additional responsibilities. I've got market research, right? So research, I've got plus responsibilities. Right, so I can demonstrate what it is that I'm doing, and my research is showing that my salary is benchmark. Right? Is it relevant? Right? So is it relevant? What is it? What is it that I've got? Right? I'm saying that it aligns. It aligns with me. It aligns with my professional goals. Perhaps it also aligns with your financial goals, right? Perhaps, you've got financial stability. We ought to keep our lights on, don't we? So time bound, when is it going to occur? So I'm going to have the conversation in the next 4 weeks. So I'm going to have the conversation in the next 4 weeks, right? And, it's next 4 weeks, in my one-on-one. So that's how I'm going to start it. Now, this is where it gets very interesting. I've had this with a client more recently, actually more than one client, going up for pay rises and are told, right, but we only do pay rises once a year. Yeah, but my work's happening. Okay, but we'll give you a bump, we'll give you a bonus. Okay, hang about. So we'll give you a bonus, but it's not going to be then rolled into my salary. Taxable. So am I going to get the salary increase, right? So they commit to a bonus, give you a salary increase. You only get the same standard, possibly CPI, maybe not CPI. So you're doing more work, you're going up, you've got a bonus, and they say, look, we'll bump you up by a CPI. And you go, but I'm doing more. So I'm doing more, I've achieved more, I'm worth more, but you're actually going to pay me less in the scheme of things. Be very careful. Be very careful when you're negotiating how bonuses are paid, how and when remuneration increases occur, plus all the other entitlements that you've got. Remember, if they can't do cash, if you cannot get it on your base, what else can you negotiate? So coming back to here, sorry, deviate somewhere. So my SMART goal here would say something like, by the end of the month, I'll have a meeting with my manager to present my case for a 10% pay rise. and it's going to be supported by my performance, the responsibilities they've got, and market value. That is how you'll bring together your own SMART. So I invite you to try this process for one of your 2025 goals. You've got your notebook, you've got your workbook there. You've got your workbook there. Write down your version of a SMART goal, whether it's either personal or professional. Is it clear and specific? Does it meet a measurable outcome? Is it realistic to challenge and grow you? Does it align with what it is that you want and what you value? And have you set a realistic deadline? Then what I want you to do is actually choose the action that you are going to take in the next 24 hours to start moving towards your goal. Now, why this works is the SMART framework itself. So I'm just trying to figure out which color that I want to write in. What it does, the SMART framework turns a potentially very intimidating task into clear, manageable steps, right? It also ensures that when you take action, you're prepared, you're confident, and you're aligned with your goals, right? So if you're, let's say one of your goals, there's a couple of my clients are like this, they're launching their own business or launching a side hustle. Right, so I've got a company that I'm working with at the moment that are doing a geographical expansion, right? So let's say you've got, could be a hustle, could be a geographic expansion, it could be anything along those lines. So what are you going to do? You're going to research. You're going to research, similar businesses. What else would you do? You're going to identify one product or service. So you can look at that. I'm going to launch my side hustle. I'm going to launch my business. I'm going to expand. So I'm going to research similar businesses and identify one product or service that I'm going to start with. It's very easy to go, oh, but I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. No, you don't want to be doing that. What you want to be doing is focusing on what you will be successful first. Let's say this was one of mine many years ago, and that's the reason why I use it. So, I want to improve my public speaking. So I'm talking to you here. I can tell you, hand on heart, that I could never, in my earlier days, be able to do this. There have been 2 occasions, one where I passed out completely because I was so fearful and forgot to breathe, and the other one I got very faint, to the point that I would have somebody walk around the room and that would do this to me, telling me to breathe. The whole idea of me public speaking, and it all shifted in particular when I was asked to be the face of a company. So I was asked to be the face of the company. It was like, oh my gosh, right? So the first thing that you could do, you can volunteer to present at a meeting. You can present at a team meeting. You want to know what I did? Toastmasters. Toastmasters International was just phenomenal. There are so many really good ways that you can practice and get into with Toastmasters. But if you can't do those, or choose not to, or don't want to just yet, then start. Where can you volunteer? Where can you start practicing? Record yourself. Get yourself on video. Get in the mirror. You've got an iPhone, smartphone, any smart device, get yourself recorded. I've got my handy dandy tripod here. Get yourself set up. I've got a tripod here. You name it, I've got it. I do online delivery routinely. Now, it does not mean, my lovelies, that I do not feel overwhelmed or anxious or anything else that comes into that place. It does not mean. It does not mean that. What it means, though, is that I care. I care about what it is that I'm doing. I'm applying what it is that I'm doing. And again, remember, if I'm not squirming, I'm not learning. So let's go something a little bit more personal. Let's say one of your goals is save for a holiday. Who would like a holiday? I'd like a holiday. We've got Christmas time coming up. Save for a holiday. My beautiful husband has a milestone birthday. And so our holiday is his celebration for his milestone birthday. So what would you do? The first step, create a budget. A realistic budget. You know, and part of that realistic budget is what can I set aside each week? Or whatever your pay cycle is. So what is it? What is it that you do? What's your first step that you're going to take against your 2025 goal? Feel free to drop it in the chat because you might inspire somebody else. By doing this, you will gain clarity and direction. You should know exactly where you want to focus your energy and the first step to take. So let's talk about what we've accomplished so far. You've identified where you are. You've reflected on what's holding you back, and you've gained awareness. You're building confidence. You've recognized your wins and reinforced your ability to take action. And then you've set a bold goal. You've outlined actionable steps to achieve your goal. You can use this. You can use these 3 steps whenever you're feeling stuck. Awareness, confidence building, and action are tools that you can revisit over and over again to keep you moving forward. And just remember, just like, you know, with people like The Rock, you know, Dwayne Johnson, success doesn't happen by chance. It's actually about recognizing where you are, taking those small steps, that intentional action, and committing to growth every step of the way. So the next thing that we're going to explore is how to build momentum and sustain it so you can keep this progress going long after today. So now you have defined your goals, started building confidence. Let's what, you know, keeps you moving forward. Momentum. Now, momentum is the bridge. So it's the bridge between planning and achieving. It's what transforms your intention into actions and your then actions into results. So start small, but consistent. When you do that, you create that snowball effect that grows over time, making it easier to stay on track and achieve even bigger wins. So there are some practical steps for building momentum. Start small, build consistency. Big goals can feel overwhelming, but momentum begins with the very smallest step. So coming back to our, let's say our SMART goal, and you want to ask for that pay rise. The first step is gathering examples of your achievements or researching salary benchmarking. So my question for you is, what's one small action you can take today that moves you closer towards your goal? Now, celebrating small wins along the way is so, so important because every step forward is progress. And progress, every piece of progress deserves some recognition. Now, celebrating small wins keeps your energy up, but also reinforces if you're on track. So let's say, for example, you've completed your resume, you've sent out applications, or are having productive conversations with a mentor. All are wins worth celebrating. So what's one recent win that you can acknowledge right now? Now, the most important thing about momentum, it doesn't mean you need to stick to a tightly rigid plan. What it is, it's about being flexible enough to evaluate and adjust as you need. Set time aside each week to ask yourself, what's worked well and what needs to change? When you're thinking here, could be the first step. Let's say this is your first 24 hours. What can you do within 24 hours? What can you do? What can you take in the next 24 hours to move you closer towards your goal? This could be something as simple as scheduling a meeting, researching your next steps, sending an email that you've been putting off. What can you do inside the next 24 hours? Now, if you feel comfortable, you want to share your actions in the chat, awesome. I can definitely hold you accountable. If you need some accountability, feel free to send it across to me, because I can help you be accountable. Now, why momentum matters is because it actually builds long-term confidence, because it shows you of what is possible. Every action you take, no matter how small, is proof that you're moving forward. The more consistent you are, the easier it becomes to believe in yourself and for you to trust in the process. Think of like momentum kind of like riding a bike, right? The hardest part is getting started, but once you're moving, it's easier to keep going. And so today's small step is very powerful, not because it solves everything, but because it creates the energy and belief that you need to keep going. Now, you've actually done a lot through this session today, a lot, right? You're recognizing where you are, understanding what's holding you back. You've built confidence, celebrating your wins and identifying your strengths. 3, you've set actionable goals, creating a clear path forward. Momentum is about carrying that energy forward and trusting that consistent effort leads to meaningful change. Now, let's kind of bring everything back together and talk about how you can take what you've learned today and make it a sustainable part of your journey into 2025. We are heading into the home stretch. Right, let me just take a drink. So let's take a moment to acknowledge how much you've done so far. Recognizing your barriers, building your confidence, setting goals, creating momentum. It's a lot. And you have shown up for yourself, in the biggest possible way. So let's talk about something important, why people don't actually take action when they don't have the tools. It's amazing. People have tools and resources and everything else, but something stops them. Now, it usually comes down to 3 things. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, or fear of success. Procrastination, overthinking, waiting for the perfect time, or feeling overwhelmed. And the 3rd, lack of support, trying to do it all alone without guidance or encouragement. And if you're feeling any of these, I would like to reassure you, it's normal. It does not mean you're not capable. It just means you need a little bit of help to get started or stay on track. So you have options. You've got what it is. You do it yourself. You've learned 3 steps today, a 3-step system. Now, if you feel confident applying it on your own, go for it. You already have everything you need to start making progress. I have a done with you. If you want more support, you can create a confidence blueprint together. I have a great group coaching. This is part of that group structure, where you are guided step by step with your peers and provide feedback, and we help you to stay accountable. And then I have a done for you. where it's so contextualized, very personalized, and I'm here to guide you through the entire journey. I can tell you now, this is premium, it's bespoke experience tailored specifically to your needs. Simple as that. You need to figure out where you want to be. Are you going to do this on your own? Would you like some help with a community? You can join my Confident Women's Network. You can join here on LinkedIn, on YouTube, wherever you are streaming, watching this stream from. Or you can come and talk to me. So here's what I would like you to take away from today. You've already taken the hardest step, and that's showing up. That's watching this. And if you're watching on replay, let me know you're watching on replay. Thankfully, you can speed me up or slow me down. You can pause me. You can do anything that you possibly need. You've invested in your time. You've started the process of building confidence, clarity, and momentum. Just imagine what is possible if you keep moving forward. The road ahead might feel overwhelming at times, but you don't have to walk it alone. I'm here with you. I have a group we've got, whether it's through a program, through a coaching, whether it's through our community, our network, or just cheering you on from the sidelines. There's something here for you. So if you are ready for your next step and you're ready to keep momentum, here's what you can do. You can book a clarity call with me. So let's talk about where you are, where you want to go, how I can help you get there. This call is to help you find the best path for you. You can explore my programs, the do it yourself, do it with you, or do it for you options to see what fits right. And I will drop a link for the calls and programs in the chat. I just want you to be thinking, you are capable of so much more than you realize. Today is just the beginning of what you can achieve in 2025 and beyond. Take that first step, then the next, and know that you have a whole raft of people here supporting you. I'm here supporting you every step of the way. Now, thank you for joining me today. I can't wait to see what you'll accomplish and how we can make 2025. Now, if you are here online and you have watched all the way through, you can pop in the comments which programs, what are my 3 programs that I offer to my clients and out to the market. I am going to take one of those and you are going to be offered part of our Done With You program. And that means you have access, a 12-week access into our group coaching, as well as access into the DIY, which is all of my library. Anyhow, that's it from me today. Remember, you are much more capable than you realize. If you did not get your workbook, please also drop us a line. It's got some brilliant things in here, which I did not cover today as well, which is to do with your values, about part of your value chain, your affirmations. That's it from me, right? And remember always, incredible is not just a word, it is you. So wishing you much love, much joy, much calm, much harmony in everything that you have and what you set yourself for 2025. And just always know that I'm here for you as you need. Be well, take care.